You're right there. Hope you're all keeping well. Mark here from 6 Plus, going over another installment for Fyreslayers out there from the 3.0 book. As you can hopefully see by the title, it's the Magmatic Invocations. So if you want to follow on from home, it is on page 86 to 87. So let's crack on. So there's 3 invocations. There is the Molten Inferno, the Runic Firewall, and the Zargron's Flame Spitter. So a little bit of a heads up with how this is set up. I put the points in, but as we do know, Games Workshop will adjust points for balance and so on and so forth. So at the recording of this video, pardon me, all the points, to my knowledge, are correct. Alright? Now, when you are summoning these invocations, it's done in the same phase that you do your magic and so on and so forth, and other prayers. When it comes to prayers, you roll 1d6, not 2d6, 1d6. Alright, just letting you all know that. So let's crack on. So, we got the Molten Inferno, which is 70 points. It's got an answer value of 4, a 12-inch range, and you have to obviously, when you set up invocations, you have to set them up within the range specified, wholly within. So it's wholly within 12. The caster or chanter it has to be visible to them, and more than 1 inch away from any other models, terrain features, invocations, and endless spells. But 12 inches, that's quite a bit of a range. So on a 50-50 chance, this Inferno pops off. I do like the model, if I'm allowed to say. After it's set up, Burning Tide, after this model is set up, the commanding player can immediately move it up to 2d6. In addition, at the start of each subsequent hero phase, if this invocation is on the battlefield, the commanding player can move it up to 2d6. Bit random, either 2 inches up to 12 inches. But let's just say it's going to be about 7-8 inches if you roll an average. But who rolls average? Not me. Now its ability. After this invocation has moved, the commanding player rolls 12 dice for each unit within 3 inches of it. For the roll to determine how far... For each unit within 3 of it. For each 6, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound. So on average, out of 12 dice, you're going to possibly get about 2 to 3 more wounds. But if you yeet this Inferno right into your enemy lines, and maybe there's 4 units nearby, that's, 2 or 3 mortal wounds on 3 or 4 units. However, if you rolled a double for its movement, so double 2, double 3, whatever it is, instead of 1 mortal wound for each 6, it's D3 mortal wounds for each 6. Could be quite tasty. If you spike a lot on your dice rolls, could be quite tasty. However, if you do have a double roll for your movement, double 2, double 3, whatever it is, the invocation is removed at the end of the phase. It disappears. Fyreslayer units are not affected by this ability. So technically, if you were fighting another Fyreslayer player and you have this Inferno, there's no point summoning it, because you won't affect the other Fyreslayer player. You just won't. I personally like this one, because if you roll in about average, you could do 2 to 3 mortal wounds on multiple units. However, obviously if you double roll, those 2 to 3 mortal wounds could go to 4 to 6 mortal wounds per unit. It's not bad. And nice bit of movement. A little trick I've noted at the bottom is if your general is a priest and you want to give them the trait Avatar of Volcatrix, when that priest dies, you get this invocation for free and you don't need a roll to cast it. It just pops up where it died. That's not bad. If you're getting surrounded by enemy units, you just go, cool, here's an invocation, take these mortal wounds in the face. So let's crack on. We have now got the Runic Firewall, 55 points. Answer value of a 3, so you got a 2 in 3 chance of this going off. And you got a nice bit of a range, 18-inch range to set it up within. This unit cannot move. Models cannot move across or through this invocation unless they are Magmadroth keyword or they can fly. So it's a proper gatekeeper style invocation. You just put it where you don't want your enemy units to get through. Is the bulwark. Obviously, if you can fly over it, so forth. However, its other ability, Awakened Runes, at the start of each phase, the commanding player can pick one friendly Fyreslayer unit wholly within 12 of this invocation and draw upon its powers. If you do so, the commanding player rolls a dice. On a 1 to 5, the unit gains a 6 up ward. On a roll of a 6, they gain a 4 up ward until the end of the phase, and this invocation is removed from play at the end of the phase. So if it's the combat phase, I'm going to try and give my unit a ward save. Shooting phase, going to try and give them a ward save. But if you do that, you do it at the expense of your firewall. The nice thing is, your unit has to be wholly within 12 inches, but they can be ahead. They could be in any direction, which is really, really nice. If you've got this firewall closer to your home objective, let's say, near your battle forge or anything like that, but then you've got some half-guard berserkers up contesting a middle objective, or not half-guard, they've already got a ward save, but Volkite berserkers, you've now given them a ward save for 55 points and a 2 in 3 chance of it going off. Not a bad option. Now, Zargron's Flame Spitter. It's got a answer value of 3, so a 2 in 3 chance of it going off. It's only got a small range of 6 inches, but it has this for a reason, because its Magma Blast ability is at the start of the commanding player's shooting phase. If there are any friendly Fyreslayer priests within 6 inches of this invocation, the commanding player can pick one enemy unit within 24 of this invocation and roll 12 dice. Add 1 to the roll if there's 10 or more models in that unit. Add 2 to the roll if there's 20 or more models in that unit. For each 6 plus, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound. If the commanding player rolls 4 or more unmodified 6s, after the mortal wounds have been allocated to that unit, the invocation is removed from play. Now, I've done a quick little bit of maths. If you select a unit with less than 10 models, you're going to average about 2 mortal wounds. If you select it on a 10 or more unit, you're going to average about 5 mortal wounds. And if you select a unit of 20 or more, you're going to average about 7 mortal wounds. Every time I rolled, luckily I didn't spike any 4 or more unmodified 6s. So it can hang around some time, right, which is great. This one is really, really good because it's some range threat output. Fyreslayers don't really have any range except for throwing axes and the Magmadroth's fire stream attack. But also, when it says select an enemy unit within 12 of the invocation, it doesn't need line of sight. So if you've got some line blocking terrain, such as woods or anything like that, doesn't matter. You're still shooting. You're shooting this magma over the forests and hitting the grots or whatever on the other side. So I think this is really, I think this is really quite a nice one. If you want to have some unit defending your home objective a bit, could be quite good. And that is it. Honestly, I think all these invocations do have a valid use to them. The Inferno, just launch them at the opponent. The wall, have a bulwark and support your units in front of it or behind it. The Flame Spitter, I think that can be quite nasty if you spike some rolls. You're just shooting someone 24 inches away, don't need any line of sight. But, as always, if you've had any experience with or against these invocations, please comment down below. I'll be very much interested to see what kind of experience you've had. As always, if these videos are helping you, please like, comment down below. If you haven't already subscribed, the usual, keep the overlords happy, subscribe down below. I do have some affiliate and social media links down there, so you can chat to me down there as well. But as always, I really do hope you keep well and so on and so forth. My brain's not having a melt. I'm really grateful that you watched all the way to the end, and I do hope to see you again for another installment of the Fyreslayers. You all take care. I'll see you around.